What's up, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. So, just to give you an update on Paul George, listen to Woj and Adrian Wojnarowski and reading some articles and things like that about Paul George and checking out, looking into his situation. His knee injury is, it could be a little bit more severe than what we think because he's really listed as day to day, but it doesn't really seem like it's that type of situation because against the Wizards tonight, there's a possibility that, he's probable to play. I've seen on some reports, and then some other reports I've seen that he's like pretty much basically out. So it's like, he's listed day to day. And even if he does come back, this is the thing, even if he does come back, what type of Paul George would you be getting? Are you getting one that's just ailing, kind of like out there as a decoy, drop maybe 10, 12 points, 15 points, 16 points, something like that, and not really get the best of him, playing on both sides of the basketball? That is a question, even if he does come back a little bit early. So with this type of situation, with his knee injury and possibly his knee needing to be drained and things like that, he's gonna have to really try to maybe not just play through it, but maybe the best thing to do is maybe sit him down maybe a few more games just to get him some rest, because the knee injury type thing is something you definitely don't want to play with, especially not long term when you need to try to make a run in the playoffs. This team doesn't need another catastrophic injury or anything like that to it, because wow, it would just be the earth falling down basically if that happens. So the Clippers definitely need to try to be as precautious as possible. And like I said, it's listed as day to day, and he's feeling a lot better from what I'm hearing, through some of the sources I know, and reading some of the reports and things like that. He's doing like little practice here and there, not really too much full contact practices, anything like that. Pretty much trying to rest more so than anything and get the conditioning that he needs, which is perfectly fine because, like I said, they definitely going to need him, especially, the way things are looking right now. They may lose a few games here and there, but if they get back on track, it's definitely going to have to be Paul George added to the mix along with Kawhi and the rest of the crew, and try to figure things out because, the crazy thing is you don't want to put too much on Kawhi in regards to scoring and things like that, because we saw what happened last year in the playoffs, or the last month of the regular season going into the playoffs. Kawhi played the best basketball probably in the NBA the last month of last season, and he got the Western Conference Player of the Week one or two times last season, the last month of the regular season last year, and then he went to the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns and showed out the first two games, especially that first one, and everybody looked at it like, wow, this team could probably beat Phoenix with just Kawhi Leonard, even without Paul George. But the problem with that is it was too much onus on Kawhi Leonard in regards to scoring and, trying to, put a team on his back and things like that. So you definitely don't want that to happen either. So the quicker Paul George can come back, the more onus or the less it takes off of Kawhi Leonard. Some nights he can just score like, 19, 20 or something like that, and they win the game because, Paul George will give you like 20, 22. And then, there's nights where Kawhi will go off and have 20, 30 points, and they can kind of flip flop back and forth, with that. They kind of balance each other out. That's really what they need to do. And that's really the team's motto. What I'm saying? That's why there's been times throughout the season you would see where Kawhi would have a 30 or 40-point game. And then there's a few times throughout the season you would see Paul George have that sometime, because it's kind of like two star players giving each other the night off just a little bit, so they can kind of like make it through the season and, coast as much as possible instead of putting too much on each other. What I'm saying? Whereas before they didn't have that point guard in James Harden. So Kawhi and PG had to be the point guard, the scorers, the defenders. They had to be so many things. They didn't have really any downtime. You see what I'm saying? So, but with both of them being on the court, they kind of help each other out, of course, in regards to the scoring and defensively. So, and the Clippers are definitely missing Paul George's defense too, because he will, he is a two-way player also. He's not the two-way player Kawhi is, but he is a really good two-way player. So, I think that Lakers game would have been a lot different, possibly if Paul George was there along with Zubac. I can't leave him out because he does good against the Lakers as well. And, I think they're going to need, both of them, of course, going forward. You can't miss two starters in, this point of the season and think you're just going to, beat, the teams the rivalry teams, the better teams, the more competitive teams. It's just, going to be hard to do. So definitely we hope Paul George gets healthy quick enough, because they definitely need his presence there. They definitely need his defense. They definitely need his offense. You know what I'm saying? And they definitely going to need, everything they can get, because this point of the season, as I said, this is the most crucial part of the season, of the NBA season, that really matters. This is almost like playoff time, just not really called playoff time just yet, because you're in the thick of things where you have to make things work and you have to put things together where your chemistry is at an all-time high, because going into the playoffs, you want to be playing your best basketball the realer it gets going into that part of the season. So hopefully, Paul George comes back within the next couple of games, but I really don't want them to rush him too much, because like I said, when playoff time comes, the Clippers just don't need no catastrophic injuries. They don't need no surprises in that way. And we just want to see the Clippers go through the playoffs. And, if they win the whole thing, that'd be great. If they don't, that would be horrible. But at the same time, at least we could say, well, they were healthy. They finally played all the way through. They did their very best, and they came up short or something like that. And of course, I definitely don't want to say that, but what I'm saying is, you definitely don't want to see a situation like years previous where they got injured and we never saw how good they could be, or how far they could have went if they would have never got injured. You definitely despise that even more. So I mean, definitely you at least want them to be healthy to give themselves a chance to win and maybe reach their ultimate goal.